Okay, I'm going to try to show you a homework question via video this week, and I'll try to do it justice here as far as the camera work. So this is actually chapter 6, the second question, and it's talking about short-run production costs, and it talks about Yvette, who has a performance pizza, and they sell pizzas in Miami, gluten-free, and she has a very tiny kitchen and 4 ovens, and where her workers work at. She's kind of signed a lease obligating her to pay rent for the 4 ovens into next year. Because of this, and because of Yvette's kitchen cannot fit more than 4 ovens, Yvette cannot easily change the number of ovens she uses in her production of pizzas, especially in the short run. However, Yvette's decision regarding how many workers she can use vary from week to week because her workers tend to be students. Each Monday, Yvette lets them know how many workers she needs for each day of the week. So it's asking the question, okay, so in the short run, are these workers a variable input? Are they a fixed input? Well, the fact is, it sounds like it's pretty easy for her to determine on a week-to-week basis how many students that she may need. So that doesn't sound like a fixed cost to me. It sounds like a variable cost. It's very easy to alter the amount of students that can work in her restaurant. With that being said, though, the ovens, where she has a very small facility and they have 4, that would take some time to fix. You would have to expand the store. You might even have to look at putting together a second store if demand required it. So the ovens would be a fixed input, okay? So that's the first part of the question. I'm going to scroll down here. And the next thing it does, it gives us it wants us to figure out the marginal product for each of our hiring decisions, okay? So what it's wanting us to know at the end of the day is, okay, when we hire an employee, how many pizzas do they bring to the production process, okay? So we can just do this one by one. When we go from 0 employees to 1, how much did our pizzas go up? We went from 0 to 60, okay? So in this situation, when we hired that first employee, our production of pizzas went up to 60, and that makes sense because we couldn't make any with no employees, but now that we've hired 1 employee, we're at 60, okay? Now we decide to move from 1 employee to 2 employees. Well, how much did our pizza production go up, okay? And keep in mind, that's the question it's asking with marginal product, is when I hire an extra employee, how much did my overall production of pizza go up, okay? You may want to instinctively answer 100, but that's not the answer, because we only went from 60 to 100 when we hired that second employee. So actually the answer is 40, okay? You only want to answer this based on how much additional pizzas that new employee brought to the process, okay? So let's do the rest. When we moved from 2 employees to 3 employees, our pizzas went from 100 to 130. So we're going to put 30 there. And then when we went from 3 pizzas to 4 pizzas, we went from 130 pizzas to 150. So that employee brought 20 pizzas to the table. And then finally we went from 4 to 5 employees, and they were able to add 10 additional pizzas. You may ask yourself, well, why is the production of pizzas going down with each hired employee? Well, that makes sense. Remember, we only have 4 ovens. So as we hire more employees, naturally our production is going to go down because there's not enough room in the kitchen. There's only so many ovens, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the last part I wanted to get to, though, which we're going to do some graphing this week. And graphing can be challenging, okay? But I kind of wanted to show you how this graph works. Okay, when you want to actually graph something, you'll just grab this green little icon here and move it to where you want to move it. Okay, and back to our original answer, we're just graphing out what we just talked about. Okay, so when we had 0 employees, they were able to produce 0 pizzas. Okay, now we're going to act like we hired 1 employee, and if you notice, the quantity of labor is 1 employee, and if you remember, I think they produced 60 pizzas. Okay. Then we'll grab this again. We have 2 employees. I think they were able together to do 100. Okay. And then we're going to go to 3 employees, and they were able to do 130. Try to get that right. Okay. And I'm just graphing all of this out here. 4 employees. Okay. They were able to do 150, I believe. Get that right where it needs to be. And then finally, I'll get my 5th employee. When we hired that 5th employee, they were able just to bring 10 extra to the table, okay? So you see this graph here. That's how you graph something. And if you notice, we talked about kind of, decreasing efficiencies. This is a great example. We kind of started, going up the ladder pretty quickly, but as we hired more employees, we only got the marginal benefit kind of decreased hire over hire. They're still producing increased product. It's just not as much as you were with the first 2 hires. So hopefully that'll help you out a little bit with your homework this week, especially when it comes to graphing.